Dixiecrat brothers and sisters. But daggone it, at the end of the day, you got to grapple with the fact that you were representing a side that wanted to keep black people enslaved.
Great.
You can dress it up and talk about it was about states' rights. The state's right to do what? Own Negroes.
Thank you.
I know the blood of people who disagree with me boils. Imagine what we have to do every day when we got to listen to Fox News and Sucker Carlson.
Call him Sucker Carlson.
Y'all watching enough, you would get what I just said.
Call him Sucker Carlson.
I've been on this show before. I understand people got a right. You got a First Amendment right to say what you got to say. But you are spreading the poisonous, bilious, negative, hateful rhetoric against gay people, against lesbian people, against trans people, against black people, against brown people, against everybody who's straight and white. And if you learn your history, you'll learn you come from a great people who have faced that kind of madness before. This ain't the first time we done seen white supremacy. This is not the first time you've seen hatred of the other. This is not the first time we've seen people hate history and ignore it. Ask your grandmama and your great-grandmama and your great-great-grandmama. Ask the people you came from. Senate folk in the House of Representatives, state legislatures changed. 2,000 folk who were black were in these positions, and then the white reaction got nasty and vigilant and hateful, and they started burning down our churches and our schoolhouses. I thought you loved God and learning. Why you burning down stuff that you ought to be recognized? Now my talk today ain't about hating on nobody. It's about learning your history so that you understand what you're involved in right now. All of these right-wing conservatives who claim to love God but hate everybody God loves.
Sheesh.
And don't you get sucked up into that. Telling each other that's so gay. You don't even know what gay is. James Baldwin was gay and he's one of the greatest writers that ever lived. And tell the truth about who we are. You've been helped by some gay people yourself and didn't even know it. At your church.
That's your church.
Talk about it. All good.
Some of them paid your tuition. Some of them paid for you to go to school.
Yep.
Some of them helped you out with your math problem and your geography problem. Some of them told you about Jesus and Jesus' love. The Indian black woman came up to me, she said, you know you're going to hell. I said, ma'am, I know I deserve to. I know there are 25 reasons why I should. But I'm curious, which one of those reasons do you know? Because my phone is locked. That's 15 of them right there. Keep it real, son. She said, don't be funny. You know what I'm talking about. She said, you said this morning that God created gay people. I said, you think I'm going to hell? And you a polytheist? You think there's a God for straight people and one for gay people too? Ain't but one God. Either God made everybody or God ain't made nobody. Ain't no in between. What? God took off on Wednesday? You know, this creating people is a troubling thing. I'm gonna have to take a break. Let me let God number 2 come in and substitute for me. And then that God made gay people? Is that how it works? If you have been a victim of white supremacy and social injustice and hatred because you were black, don't turn around and hate nobody because they gay or lesbian or transgender or bisexual. And please don't be quoting the Bible on me. That's the same Bible white supremacists used to prove you were an ignorant Negro who didn't deserve God's love.
Come on.
There it is.
lethal ignorance from some of these right-wing conservatives who hate learning and history, and some of these bigots within our own community who can't even love everybody, that you ought to think about. He said, free your mind, and your ass will follow. Y'all excuse me for cursing. I get 3 curse words up here. That's one of them. Free your mind, and your ass will follow. Why? Because when your mind is free, you change the trajectory of your aspiration. When you free your mind from enslavement to narrow ideas, to toxic masculinity, to hateful misogyny, then you become a bigger and more powerful human being. You get freed from some of the narrowness, and then you can follow with your behind what your mind has achieved.
There it is.
And not only your legacy and learning, but you come from a great people who knew how to love. And I'm going to just end with this. Love is important. I ain't talking about that sappy stuff. I ain't talking about the stuff that people get sprung on. You like somebody, they like you. That's good, man. I remember them days. See, y'all trying to holler. I just don't understand how y'all be hollering at the women who respond to your mendacious, pathological, patriarchal, misogynistic hatred of women. I mean, damn.
Say it again.
Like, bitch, host, Jesus, blood,
Talk about it.
what? That's how you got a girl? Hey, shorty, she taller than you. We come from love. That's why we forgave America. Up the road in Charleston, 9 people at church one night in a prayer meeting. A young, white, misled man went in and killed them as they prayed. He said he started not to do it. They were so nice to him. Being nice will never interrupt white supremacy. Respectability ain't gonna circumvent white hostility. That's why we got so much violence against each other. Part of it is poverty, part of it is living in a horrible neighborhood where you scrapping for stuff that's very rare. Every group of people who have been poor have lived in hurtful circumstances, have done horrible things, have killed each other. No such thing as black on black murder. It's neighbor against neighbor carnage. Jews, Poles, Italians, Lithuanians, Irish, they all did it. So don't make it a black thing, that's a poor people thing. Yet at the same time, we got to resist that and learn to love each other. Light skin versus dark skin. Y'all gotta stop that madness. Your generation ought to be starving and don't be obsessed with your love object if they look a certain way only. Now, I ain't in your bedroom, I ain't in your toolkit, I don't know what your affection is. Love who you want to love. But don't be obsessed with the belief that the people who look like you are the worst examples of people who should be the recipient of your affection. In other words, don't be hating on no black woman, that's where you came from. Right? Love who you will. Love is, look, it's hard enough if you and this microphone can get along. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? You know what I like about you? What's that? You amplify me. So you love who you want to love, but don't be going around dogging black men or black women because they black, and you don't like them because they got an attitude Come on, man. And then because they're tough, they help us survive, and then you hold them accountable in an unfair fashion for the very toughness that allowed you to survive for 400 years.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna take my seat, but loving each other and loving this nation and loving yourself with your kinky hair, with your broad nose, with your dark skin. Everybody trying to get a tan, you born with one. Everybody trying to get bigger hips, as I noticed the predictions and predilections of a culture that's having cosmetic surgery to get a bigger gluteus maximus. And you born with a gluteus emphasis on maximus. I ain't reducing the complexity of blackness to your physiological embodiment, but if you got it, back that thing up.
Let's go, man.
I'm talking about your brain, and I'm talking about your brain. I have no idea what you all are speaking about. Let me take my seat. So, Malcolm X said that the measure of any society is how it treats its women. And we got to love women. In an age of toxic masculinity and hatred and misogyny and femophobia, just scared of a real woman.
Yep.
She get in the area and you acting all crazy and fidgeting. Like if you a real man, you ain't got to be taller than a real woman, metaphorically. My pastor used to say, you ain't got to stand on a woman's grave to be taller. Allow her the room to breathe, the freedom and liberty of her gifts and talents. It will make your love life so much better. And your appreciation for the other will increase. And so, as I take my seat, love is critical. Love of self is important. Love of nation important. Critically, love of nation. We don't love you uncritically. James Baldwin said, I love America more than any nation on earth. I reserve the right, therefore, to criticize her. You come from a great people. Nothing can stop you. If you love each other and love yourselves, nothing can interrupt that. So, I gotta say this. I don't know about some of this music y'all listening to.
I know it.
Cause it ain't all trash, but it's got some trashy ways. And don't act like earlier generations didn't have trash either. Now they had a little hoochie coochie going on as well.
Coochie coochie.
We had Grace Jones pull up to my bumper, baby, in your own black limousine. Come on, what that metaphor for? Billy Jackson said, put a bigger log on the fire.
My Lord.
Back in the 1920s, they had some blues songs that'll make Snoop Dogg get embarrassed. But as I take my seat, my point is we got to learn to love our women, our girls, our mothers and sisters, and our cousins and them. We got to love them. Right? Including in the music. Now I know you get mad at people and say stuff and they say stuff to you, but don't make that deeply entrenched in a permanent record that goes around the world that men think when black women visit other parts of the world they can slap them on the behind with impunity. Or that they are sex objects or projections of their crotch. Be careful about that. See, back in my day, and I don't want to be one of them Negroes talking about back in my day, but back in my day. I mean, we had, what, the Temptations? Y'all don't know nothing about that. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day.
All right.
Y'all know, when it's cold outside, I've
Have you seen her?
Tell me, have you seen
Have you seen her?